The sun rises over the sprawling metropolis of Night City, casting its early rays upon the towering mega-scrapers and reflecting off the polished surfaces of chrome-plated vehicles. In the heart of this bustling and chaotic city, amidst the constant hum of activity and neon-lit streets, there lies Trauma Team Headquarters, the haven of hope and healing in a world teetering on the edge of chaos. And within these formidable walls, I, Evelyn Sinclair, don my combat medic gear, ready to embark on another day of saving lives. As the alarm clock shatters the tranquil silence of my apartment, I emerge from the depths of sleep, my mind sharpening like the blade of a razor. I have earned my moniker, Razor, through years of relentless dedication to my craft. I am a combat medic, the best of the best, entrusted with the lives of those caught in the crossfire of Night City's ceaseless violence. Artemis, my loyal feline companion, stirs lazily beside me, her emerald eyes glinting with curiosity. She has become my confidant in this solitary existence, a silent witness to the countless lives I strive to save. With a gentle stroke, I assure her that I will return, and she gracefully retreats to her favorite spot, a patch of sunlight that seeps through the window blinds. The streets of Night City are a living, breathing organism, throbbing with an energy that is both captivating and dangerous. I navigate this chaotic labyrinth with practiced ease, dodging the sea of bodies, each one lost in their own struggles. But I have a purpose, a destination. Trauma Team Headquarters beckons, a sanctuary amidst the chaos. As I step through the hallowed doors, I am greeted by the familiar sounds of urgency and determination. My team, a tightly knit unit, forms the backbone of this life-saving organization. Together, we share an unbreakable bond, a shared sense of purpose that propels us forward even in the face of the most dire circumstances. Within our ranks, each member possesses a unique role that ensures our seamless operation. There's Jackson, our stoic leader and tactical mastermind, always one step ahead in the dance of life and death. Then there's Sarah, the fierce warrior with a heart of gold, whose combat prowess knows no bounds. And finally, there's Liam, our tech expert, whose quick thinking and resourcefulness complement our medical expertise. Punctuality is a virtue I hold dear, and I pride myself on being the first to arrive. With meticulous attention to detail, I check my medical supplies, ensuring that every vial, every bandage is accounted for. As I gear up, I can't help but recall the countless lives I've saved, the lives that depend on my unwavering commitment. A blaring siren pierces the air, signaling the arrival of a new mission. Time is of the essence, and our team springs into action, a well-oiled machine fueled by adrenaline and the knowledge that every second counts. We rush to the waiting AV, the whir of rotors heralding our departure into the heart of danger. We arrive at the scene, a dimly lit alley, a grim backdrop to the unfolding tragedy. A young man lies sprawled on the cold pavement, his lifeblood seeping into the cracks like a crimson river. With lightning reflexes, I assess the situation, my training guiding my every move. In this crucible, I embody the calm amidst the storm. I stabilize the patient, expertly navigating the intricate dance between life and death. Every action is precise and every decision measured. With skilled hands, I perform life-saving procedures, the patient's life hanging by a tenuous thread. The battle rages on, a symphony of chaos and courage. Our team works in perfect harmony, each member playing their part with unwavering dedication. We share a bond, bound by our relentless pursuit of saving lives. My professionalism extends beyond the operating table. With every patient I encounter, I treat them not merely as a case to be solved, but as a person in need of compassion and understanding. Whether it's offering a reassuring smile or holding a trembling hand, I strive to provide solace in the darkest of hours. As the day draws to a close and the sun sets behind the towering monoliths of Night City, while we were in the AV on our way back to Trauma Team HQ, we discussed today's events. What went well and what could we do better? We did this ritual at the end of each day. The sun had long since disappeared beyond the horizon as the sprawling metropolis of Night City succumbed to the cover of darkness. Within Trauma Team HQ, I stood alongside my team, highly skilled extraction specialists who had successfully completed numerous missions in the past. The flickering glow of holographic screens illuminated the room, casting an otherworldly aura upon our faces, revealing the determination etched in our expressions. Jackson, our stoic leader, exuded an air of confidence that commanded respect. His eyes, sharp and calculating, mirrored the tactical mastermind he was known to be. Sarah, the fierce warrior, radiated a quiet intensity that seemed to emanate from deep within her soul. And then there was Liam, our tech expert, whose nimble fingers danced across holographic keyboards, harnessing the power of information to gain the upper hand. We were a formidable unit, bound together by a shared purpose, a relentless pursuit of success, and a commitment to saving lives. Our reputation preceded us, whispered in hushed tones among those who knew the true extent of our expertise. We were the ones they turned to when the stakes were high, when success meant the difference between life and death. Tonight, we stood on the precipice of our next mission, an extraction that held paramount importance in the grand scheme of things. Our target, a high-ranking executive, possessed information that could tip the scales of power within Night City. It was our duty to retrieve him and that information, to ensure it didn't fall into the wrong hands. As we huddled together, the blueprints of the target's location flickered to life before us, a sprawling corporate complex nestled within the heart of Night City. The building stood as a fortress, guarded by an army of mercenaries, each one enhanced with cybernetic implants that rendered them formidable opponents. We knew the odds were stacked against us, but we thrived on such challenges. This was what we were trained for, what we lived for. With a nod from Jackson, we dispersed, each team member meticulously preparing their gear. The air crackled with a quiet tension as we strapped on armor, checked weapons, and ran through our strategy one final time. The weight of the mission hung heavily upon us, but we refused to let it break our resolve. As we whizzed through Night City's skies, the only thing I heard was the AV's turbines. The team was quiet. Everyone was tense. It was the calm before the storm. We landed and went straight into an alley as soon as the AV returned to the sky. The sound of gunfire shattered the silence, echoing through the narrow confines of the alley. The mercenaries emerged from the shadows like phantoms, their cybernetic enhancements glinting ominously in the dim light. They outnumbered us, overwhelming our defenses with a ferocity we hadn't anticipated. Chaos ensued, a maelstrom of bullets, explosions, and desperate cries for help. Despite all the commotion, I hear Sarah talking to the AV pilot. I saw the airship turn around and head towards us, Gatling cannon ready to give us covering fire. While ducking for cover, I saw one of the mercenaries casually walk into the middle of the street, aiming his arm at the onrushing AV. From his arm, a small rocket shot straight into the cockpit of the AV. The AV turned into a ball of fire and crashed into a building to our left. How the fuck do these guys have a PLS? That's military-grade hardware. Caught off guard, we fought valiantly, but the odds were insurmountable. Our seamless coordination was fractured, replaced by a frenzied scramble for survival. Each team member battled their own adversaries, their skills tested to the limit. But amidst the chaos, tragedy struck. I watched in horror as one of our own, Sarah, fell beneath a hail of bullets. Her indomitable spirit, her unwavering resolve, snuffed out in an instant. She had been more than a teammate. She had been family, a sister in arms who had shared our triumphs and hardships. And now, in the blink of an eye, she was gone. The loss reverberated through our ranks, shattering our collective spirit. Grief mingled with fury, fueling a burning desire for vengeance. The taste of bitter betrayal lingered in the air, for it became painfully clear that this ambush was no coincidence. Someone had orchestrated this bloodbath, someone who knew our every move. Jackson bellowed orders, "We have to move!" As we retreated, battered and bruised, our wounds, both physical and emotional, lay bare for all to see. We stumbled through the labyrinthine streets, guided by instinct rather than conscious thought. The weight of the loss hung heavy upon our shoulders, threatening to crush our spirits. How could we have been so blind? How could we have fallen into such a meticulously laid trap? We ran through the twisting alleyways, our footsteps echoing against the graffiti-covered walls. Bloodied and bruised, we refused to let despair consume us. Sarah's sacrifice would not be in vain. We had to carry on, to fight our way back to Trauma Team HQ. Mercenaries pursued us relentlessly, their cybernetic enhancements giving them an edge in both speed and strength. As we fought our way through the chaos, Jackson's leadership shone brightly. His tactical mind weaved strategies on the fly, coordinating our movements with precision. We took cover behind abandoned vehicles, using them as makeshift shields against the onslaught of bullets. Each member of the team played their part, their unique skills and abilities intertwining seamlessly. But even in the face of adversity, our resolve wavered not. We pushed forward, channeling our grief and anger into a relentless drive to survive. The path back to Trauma Team HQ was treacherous, filled with ambushes and close calls, but we pressed on. We couldn't afford to fail now. At one point, we found ourselves cornered in a narrow alley, surrounded by mercenaries closing in from all sides. The situation seemed dire, our chances of escape slim. But then, a flicker of hope appeared. A hidden door nestled within the alley wall. It led to an underground network of tunnels, a secret route known only to a select few. With renewed vigor, we sprinted through the door, leaving our pursuers bewildered and momentarily stunned. The tunnels were damp and suffused with an eerie glow, but we pressed on. It was a treacherous path, fraught with unseen dangers and unexpected twists. Yet we navigated it with a mix of caution and urgency, knowing that salvation awaited us at the other end. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, we emerged from the tunnels, gasping for air as we stepped into the dimly lit streets near Trauma Team HQ. Our clothes were torn, our bodies battered, but our spirits remained unbroken. We had fought tooth and nail, overcome insurmountable odds, and made our way back to where it all began. As we approached the imposing structure of Trauma Team HQ, a mixture of relief and anticipation washed over us. And so, with bruised bodies and hardened hearts, we stepped through the doors of Trauma Team HQ, ready to be debriefed. Evelyn stepped into the sterile room, the scent of antiseptic and tension hanging heavy in the air. The trauma of the mission still fresh in her mind, she found herself grappling with a mix of emotions. Grief for the loss of Sarah, anger at the calculated ambush they had walked into, and a resolute determination to avenge their fallen comrade. The debriefing room was adorned with holographic screens, displaying maps, data streams, and real-time footage from the mission. It was a stark reminder of the cold, calculating nature of their work. The room was dimly lit, casting long shadows that seemed to mirror the weight Evelyn carried on her shoulders.
Agent Evelyn,
Mr. Garrison began, his voice devoid of warmth.
I trust your mission went according to plan.
Evelyn's jaw clenched, and she resisted the urge to snap at him. No, it did not, she replied, her voice laced with restrained anger. We were ambushed, outnumbered, and lost one of our own. Mr. Garrison's expression remained unchanged, as if the loss of a valuable team member was nothing more than an inconsequential detail.
I'm aware of the casualty,
he stated matter-of-factly.
Sarah's sacrifice will be duly noted, but our primary concern at the moment is the cost of the lost AV.
Evelyn's eyes widened in disbelief. She had expected empathy, compassion, perhaps even acknowledgement of the risks they faced. But instead, all she heard was a callous disregard for human life. The corporation's priorities had become painfully clear. They viewed their employees as expendable assets, replaceable cogs in their profit-driven machine. What about Sarah? What about her family? Evelyn's voice cracked with a mix of grief and frustration. She gave everything for this mission, for the corporation. Are we just supposed to forget about her and move on? Mr. Garrison's expression remained stoic, unaffected by Evelyn's emotional outburst. We appreciate her dedication and service, Agent Evelyn, but in our line of work, losses are expected. The corporation's interests must be safeguarded above all else. Evelyn felt a fire ignite within her, fueled by a newfound determination to expose the corporation's callous disregard for human life. She realized that she and her team were mere pawns in a larger game, a game where the cost of a lost AV outweighed the sacrifice of a teammate. With a steely resolve, Evelyn stood up, her voice trembling with a mix of anger and conviction. "I won't stand for this," she declared. "Sarah's life mattered, and I won't let her be forgotten. We are not expendable commodities. We are human beings, and we deserve better." Without waiting for a response, Evelyn turned on her heels and stormed out of the debriefing room. She knew that her actions would have consequences, but she was no longer willing to be a cog in this heartless machine. Evelyn arrived home, her apartment enveloped in darkness. The silence echoed the void that Sarah's absence had left in her heart. She sank into her worn-out couch, her mind swirling with conflicting thoughts and emotions. The weight of grief settled heavily upon her, threatening to consume her. Her salvation came in the form of Artemis, who came to lie on her lap and was purring softly. As she sat in the dimly lit room, memories of Sarah flooded her mind. Laughter shared, battles fought side by side, and dreams of a future where they could make a difference. The pain of loss was raw and relentless, tearing at Evelyn's resolve. At that moment, quitting her job seemed like the only option, a way to escape the callousness of the corporation that had cost her a dear friend. But as she pondered her decision, a realization emerged. If she walked away, if she abandoned her role as a trauma team agent, someone else would step in to fill the void, and that someone might not possess the same compassion, the same burning desire for justice that drove Evelyn. The thought gnawed at her conscience. Evelyn understood the system was flawed, that the corporation valued profit over human life. But she also knew that by remaining in her position, she could make a difference. She had the skills, the knowledge, and the empathy to provide solace to those in need, to save lives that might otherwise be lost in the ruthless streets of Night City. The decision weighed heavily on her, a battle between her desire to seek justice and her need to protect herself from further pain. The loss of Sarah had exposed the dark underbelly of the corporation, but it had also ignited a fire within Evelyn, a fire fueled by the memory of her fallen comrade. In the midst of her struggle, a vision of Sarah appeared before her, an ethereal presence that seemed to whisper words of encouragement, reminding Evelyn of the strength they had found in each other. The memory of Sarah's unwavering determination and her willingness to sacrifice everything for the greater good filled Evelyn's heart with renewed resolve. Wiping away the tears that had been silently streaming down her face, Evelyn made her decision. She would stay, she would fight, and she would honor Sarah's memory. She would expose the corporation's dark secrets and bring justice to those whose lives had been deemed expendable. With a newfound determination, Evelyn rose from the couch, her weary body infused with purpose. The pain of loss remained, but it was now intertwined with a fierce determination to make a difference. She would become a voice for the voiceless, a guardian angel in the unforgiving streets of Night City.